Hello, everybody, and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Thursday, the 23rd of January. Thank you for joining me. Today, I would like to talk to you a little bit about worthiness and helping others to become all they're called to become. I share with you this passage from Common Prayer, a liturgy for ordinary radicals, and this is taken from December the 8th. It says here, Jean Vanier, founder of the L'Arche communities, has written, "To love someone is not first of all to do things for them, but to reveal to them their beauty and value. To say to them through our attitude, you are beautiful, you are important, I trust you, you can trust yourself." We all know well that we can do things for others and in the process crush them, making them feel that they are incapable of doing good things by themselves. To love someone is to reveal to them their capacities for life, the light that is shining in them. I remember the first time I was exposed to a L'Arche community. I probably had seen them before, but wasn't aware of it until I had been serving in my first parish in Stratford, Ontario for a couple of years. And until we started working on making the building accessible, we were completely unaware, and this is not a good thing. I confess that if I could go back in time, I would fix this. But we were completely unaware that there was a house, a L'Arche house, right beside our church. I think it was Maranatha House. And they had a large community there, 4 or 5 people who lived there, core members and their assistants, who had been living there all along. And we were completely blind to the community around us, and we had no idea they were there. And our church was completely inaccessible anyway. Even if they had wanted to come in, or we had wanted them to come in, we had so many stairs, and then the stairways were so narrow, they would never have been able to participate. Well, one day we decided we were going to change that, and we began becoming an accessible church. We blew out the front stairs and built a ground level entrance with a lift and proper stairs to the basement with an accessible washroom and kitchen and hall, and made the upstairs, the nave and the sanctuary, the chancel, the worship space and the gathering space completely accessible with a lift. And all of a sudden we became aware, because the folks from next door came over to ask us, could they use the space? And so began what became a long-standing relationship with the folks from the L'Arche community, and also became a real heart source for me. I enjoyed meeting them and getting to know them. I was aware of the L'Arche community a little bit through Daybreak, through another program, Ask and Imagine, I was involved in, but had limited resources, limited awareness of what they were doing. What I did know was that these communities, where these homes, where folks were people who were physically and intellectually disabled, lived, but they were not considered anything less than. They were the core members, and they each had an assistant who lived with them and helped them to to live their whole lives, not just, do things for them, but help them to make decisions, help them to work, help them to play, to enjoy life, to laugh, to grieve, all of those things. And it really opened up my eyes to the fact that just because someone may not have the capacity to speak or to walk or to write or to communicate in traditional ways does not mean that that person is not a whole person. Their whole being just has different abilities or capacities to work the way mine does or yours does. And that was a big learning for me, to recognize that I always understood that they were as worthy as I am. They were no better or worse than I am. That nobody could be loved more or less by God than me or anybody else. That wasn't the issue for me. It was recognizing, how do we interact with them? How do I learn to acknowledge and to receive love and to give love with someone whose capacities are different than mine? It's a relatively easy question when we're talking about someone who has greater capacities than I do. I'm blind as a bat. So if I am talking to someone or speaking to somebody who I'm having trouble seeing because I don't have my glasses on, they can see me. I have no problem trusting that they are looking at me even if I can't see their eyes. I can see their face. I know that they're communicating with me because I can hear them. I can see them, basically. I certainly couldn't read their faces or their lips. But I trust through the other capacities I have that we're having this communication. And it never occurred to me, but what about people for whom I'm the one with glasses, or I can see, and the other person who can't? And really paying attention to what makes another person a person and worthy, and how do we think about those things? And so becoming involved with L'Arche and recognizing and getting to meet the people at L'Arche, core members and assistants, and all of the volunteers around their communities, helped me to really open my eyes and understand the value of looking at life through someone else's perspective, through their own capacities, which are simply different than mine. Not better than or worse than, just different than mine. And so reading that passage from Jean Vanier, to love someone is not, first of all, to do things for them, but to reveal to them their beauty and value, to say to them through our attitude, you are beautiful, you are important. I trust you. You can trust yourself. I think often about how we treat children. How many times when we have little children, and Sunday school or at school or kids we babysit or our own children or grandchildren, do we get so frustrated because it's taking them forever to tie their shoes, to get outside and go and play so we can have our cup of tea, or we can just relax, or do it, or get going where we're trying to get going, and we just here, let me do that for you. We remove from them their capacity to take care of themselves by doing it for them. Is that really a form of showing them love? Or is it not more showing them impatience? When we take time to help teach someone to do something for themselves and then let them do it for themselves and only step in when we're needed, isn't that really showing them love? I love this. To love someone is not first to do things for them, but to reveal to them their beauty and value, to say to them through our attitude, you are beautiful, you are important, I trust you, you can trust yourself. When we say to a child, okay, it's your turn to learn to walk to school, and we walk them several times, and then we go and we point out, you got to look both ways and stop here and push the button to cross and wait for the flashers to go and do all that stuff. When the first time that we go with them and we don't tell them, we don't give them the reminders, look how proud they are of themselves when they remember to do all of those things. Yeah, absolutely. We can stop them if they forget to do something and remind them. But to stop and say, hey, did you forget something? You got to push the button, got to wait for the flashers to cross the street. Oh yeah, Mom, yeah, that's right. Okay. And then they push the button. They begin to remember. They recognize their own ability to trust themselves. They begin to recognize the value they have in themselves of being independent. And then the first time when you realize it's time to let them go by themselves. And maybe you dart from tree to tree and don't let them know that you're following them there the whole way. Or the time you simply don't follow them and you trust that they're going to get there, and at the end of the day they're going to get home. We need to show people that they're loved because that they're valued. They can value themselves by letting them do these things. We all know well that we can do things for others and in the process crush them, making them feel that they're incapable of doing things by themselves. That doesn't really show love, does it, if we do everything for someone else, even when we think that's what we're doing. We need to allow people to learn. We need to allow them to make their own mistakes and to have their own celebrations. To love someone is to reveal to them their capacities for life, the light that is shining in them. Every single person has capacities for life. Those capacities may not be ours, may not be the ones that we would like them to have, but they are capacities that they have themselves, that God has given them, and every single person has capacities. And isn't it amazing when they find them? So as we struggle through life and as we celebrate and we cry and we go through the difficult times and we wonder what the heck is happening in our lives, in the lives of others around us, let's remember to focus on capacities, our own to recognize our own capacities, to be proud of ourselves and love ourselves, that we can do what we are capable of doing, but also to celebrate other people's. They may not be able to do what we can do, but that's okay. Give them the space, give them the encouragement, give them the love to define their own capacities, and then celebrate with them. And we may just find that when our capacities are different, that's where companionship can come along, that we can walk side by side. I give what I can give, you give what you can give, and together we'll have enough. Celebrate your capacities today and help someone else celebrate theirs as well. Have a great day, everybody. God bless. I'll see you again tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachel.